Hey, 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 everyone. We are back. It's Renee and Sierra here with you and Unapologetically Badass, and we hope you're keeping it real. Thank you for tuning in again with us. As we're together, every time we have somebody on our show, we always get, you got to love yourself. So
Absolutely.
Renee and I wanted to spend some time today and just dive into what that means to us personally, because we keep having people on our show that keep saying it over and over, and we feel it and we know it, right, Renee? Like we've been through it.
Yep.
So,
Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. It is. It all starts with self-love. And I love that, these recurring themes that we
yes,
hear from different guests from all walks of life,
yes,
all backgrounds,
we
all
don't even know
whatever.
each other.
No. And so we hear all these things, and there's a lot that we do that we talk about that, that helps us. But it's so nice hearing, and it's so refreshing to hear other perspectives and what they do and how they share with others. So yeah, I think this is a great topic to talk about. And when we say self-love, we're not talking about vibrators there, babes.
No, we're not.
That's a whole other episode of self-love, but sorry for
We
the
still have yet to have a vibrator conversation, so we're gonna have to add that to
I
our next
don't know that. I know. Well,
Renee can't handle it. She just turned red and she's
I
very
can't.
sweaty, everybody.
I do. I'm so funny like that. And so this was surprising. I know your husband listens to the podcast, but it's really funny to hear men listening to the podcast. And I had somebody reach out to say that he thinks so hysterical. He thinks we're absolutely so funny, loves that, dropping the F-bombs, keeping it real, and just being authentically ourselves. I'm like, I was so like, oh my, I actually felt like, yeah, I'm like, oh my God. I felt like so I'm like a guy. I'm like, this isn't for guys. This is but he was so nice. I really appreciated that. I thought it was very sweet. Very, very sweet. So
shout out to you, sir. Thank you.
I won't call him up, but we do appreciate the support for sure. And I wanted to share it with his sister.
You know what, Renee? I think it is actually good if men listen to this.
They're gonna get such an
education. Get inside the head of a woman just listening to the two of us.
For free. You're welcome, men.
For free.
Right? They would have to pay thousands in order to freaking understand us, right? They're always like, men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Well, guess what? Listen to Unapologetically Badass, and you're gonna fucking figure that out really damn quick.
Yeah, you're gonna totally understand why we are yes, we are the beautiful creatures, which leads us to loving ourselves. And I think that we both have a journey on how we have come to loving ourselves. It's like a work in progress, right? I don't know. I mean, it's like every now and then I have to kick myself in the ass and be like, okay, girl, you love who you are. You love who you have become. So just get your shit together, you know?
It definitely is a journey. I think everything is, in life, it's not about the arrival, right? Whether it's in business or personal life, it's not like, oh, I arrived, I'm here, and now I can coast. We're always getting on and off the train, and we're always like continuing the journey. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot that we've learned. There's a lot that we've implemented, but we're still learning. We're still growing.
Yeah. I think it's like my biggest message to my girlfriends. Like whenever my girlfriends have like life altering crap happen in their life. I mean, just anything and everything. It's mainly divorce. I notice is really where you have to completely love yourself. I always just give them that message. I'm like, do things that make you happy. Do things, figure out what it is that you don't want anymore. This is going to hurt. This is going to be uncomfortable. This is going to suck. We did an episode recently where a person said, you have to be afraid of what you might find out.
Yes.
And that's on yourself, people. That is on yourself. And that is self-love.
Yes, for sure. Owning it. And that's the whole owning it. Like sit in it, learn about yourself, learn what you have, the mistakes that you've made, and own it and go like, okay, you know what? I've made a lot of mistakes and I've done a lot of, maybe bad things, wrong things, made the wrong turn, the wrong decisions. But once you sit in it and you accept it and you
Yeah.
release it. And that's the other thing is, releasing it. When we talk about self-love, it's
Yeah.
understanding that, we're humans and we make mistakes. But a lot of times women live in that space of the can't, I suck, I can't do this, I'm not worthy, I'm not,
Especially if you've had abuse,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
Verbal abuse could really, really fuck up a
Verbal,
woman. I think
absolutely.
I mean, physical abuse, that shit's gonna freaking hurt.
Mhm.
You may not live.
It's a whole big level. Yes.
Verbal and emotional abuse, man, it
Yep.
fucks a
How many
woman
of
up.
you have been with a narcissist? Raise your hand.
Raise
Yes.
your
We're
hand, ladies and
raise
gentlemen.
your hand. Yeah.
Raise 2 if it was fun. Raise none if
Right.
you ran away.
Yes. And, for some of us that narcissistic abuse
Yes.
leaves a lot of scars. And
You are an object at that point. You're not a
mhm,
human, but
mhm.
your emotions are human.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have to learn self-love after a getting out of a narcissistic relationship for
And
sure.
I do recommend, counseling or a coach. You guys know that we have a lot of coaches that come on our show, so
Yeah.
we have access to lots and lots of different ones. Renee
Yeah.
is really an expert when it comes to business. I love to just, like, do more of the mentoring coaching
Mhm.
pieces, and so we have a lot of experts. So if you're not sure where to go, let us know, and we'll connect you
Yeah,
with somebody.
for sure.
But if you are dealing with a narcissist or struggling with loving yourself, I mean, definitely get some support.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be $150 an hour for a psychologist. A coach can really, really help you mentally too, even though I would say spending a time with a counselor is really, really good because
Yeah.
sometimes you dig into a little bit deeper emotions of why your behavior maybe was that way, or maybe why you reacted,
Yeah.
or how if you hear a word or a sound or somebody says something to you. Okay, so and here is my example, Renee. If I am told or looked at like I am incompetent in any way, because sometimes because I'm a high I, I'm really all over the place. Renee and I are really different. She's very much structured. She's
No,
very
but I'm a lot like
much
that too. I could be all over the place.
we all can, but
Yeah.
I'm more like the fly in the seat of my pant kind of girl,
Yeah.
okay? But I am completely competent, but
Right.
it took me 30 years to accept that I am intelligent, I am competent, and I am smart
Mhm.
because I was told complete opposite of all 3 of those things. So
Mm.
still to this day, if somebody says or does something like, "Oh, no, don't do that. Do it like this." Immediately I get that little trigger. Have
Mhm.
you ever had that, Renee, where you're just kinda like and you get set back and then now you have to train yourself, "That's not my abuser.
Yeah.
That's not who I am. They don't mean it that way.
For me,
That's not."
if a man tells me to do something,
Yes.
if a man says you should do this or do this, okay, that's my trigger.
Mm.
So, and then I have to
Tell us
like
a little bit more. Tell us more about that because that's a big deal.
it is. And so I had to like even like getting into a new relationship after going through, all of our lives, and people can go back and listen to all those crazy fun episodes. But,
So
I
fun.
had to like learn and well, not learn, but I had to like teach myself to pause and know that not all men are narcissists and not all men are telling you what to do, but they're actually helpful and kind, but I think my self-defense, I go into self-defense, I go into like
Yes.
block
That's
mode,
what it
right?
is. It's just like it's a total like,
Jarring.
"Wait a second." Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my initial reaction is fuck you, like, don't tell me what to do. And but then it's like, so I've learned to take that pause and understand that it's coming from a place of support and kindness. And not that many
And
people tell me what to
Renee,
do, but
did you have because this also was a little bit about self-love too, because I think that you and I are both Gen X's,
yeah,
right?
the
Okay.
best fucking generation.
We are. We're the lost generation, and there's a reason for that name if y'all don't know, okay? But we do. Our audience is mainly Gen X, so
Mhm.
you guys all will relate to this. We're the lost generation because we literally would walk home from school and be home from school until 2, until about 6 with our little keys, and we would always lose our keys,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So we're the lost generation.
Yep.
We just kind of we didn't have technology. We
We just
weren't.
roamed. We went
Yeah,
wherever we needed to
we
go.
just roamed. We got I mean, I don't know how we didn't get kidnapped.
I know.
Okay, but our parents, they were on the more side of abuse in a certain way, not knowing it because they were boomers.
Yep.
And so some of the triggers and some of the lack of self-love also came from the fact that you could do nothing. My dad would tell us girls, sit there, be still, and do not speak. Like that was it. And we did it. I'm like, dang, I wish I could have got my kids to do that. Because then when we had kids, we were like, I don't want to do
Yeah.
that. But then we were trying to figure it out, like, hey, do I abuse them? Do I not? But we didn't really know that we could abuse
I
because
really
that's not what we never labeled anything. So
No.
we're like, we don't what's that label? Oh, that was called toxic. That's the
Yeah.
word.
Yeah.
And so I think that we have triggers from our childhood too.
Absolutely.
And I don't know what yours were, but it also kind of damaged that little, it was that confidence piece. And you have to have confidence to have self-love, and you have to have self-love to have confidence.
Yes. Well, and growing up, it was kids should be seen and not heard.
Yes,
And that was said on a regular. And
absolutely.
again, like you said, this was just how they grew up, and so how they shared. There was no
Yeah.
like ill feelings towards the kids. It's just kids,
Yeah.
you don't speak up in front of and to
And their
adults.
parents were even worse to them. Like
Absolutely.
you couldn't even tell anybody if you were molested.
Yeah, no, all of that was a
Right.
dark kept secret. You take all that stuff to the grave. So with
Yes,
the
and our generation started to kind of speak up, but
yeah,
we didn't know how because our parents were still like that.
yes, exactly. So that was, a learned thing that I had to find my voice
Yeah.
and, you know, f- I had to figure out when I could insert my voice. And that was something that
Yeah.
held me back because that learned behavior from childhood about being seen and not heard. I always like, okay, I'll just sit back. So for a
Yes.
long time, believe it or not, people, I was very freaking shy. I didn't say boo. Now the cat's out of the bag, the bitch is back, and I am all out there and unapologetic. But there was a time, a long time. So that's something that I had to learn. And that's, from those different things. But that's all part of our growth and our learn to self-love. I just wish, quite honestly, that I think we released the cat out of the bag a little bit too much with this younger generation. That's
Yeah.
just my opinion. I think we went
Yeah.
full throttle, like, let's
Same.
talk about and hear what you have to say. And sometimes I'm like, no, you need to suck it up. Like,
I too was completely shy, but I had no self-confidence, and I had a drug addict mother, and she was kind of in and out of our lives. So my
yeah,
dad was really like the main basis of raising us for a good solid amount of time that I can remember before my stepmom came into the picture. But I was so standoffish in it and had no self-love to where I think 3, 4 years in school, I want to say from like first grade to third grade, I spoke to no one and made
wow,
no friends. And I
wow,
was safer that way because from kindergarten to third grade, I went to 11 different schools.
wow,
Yeah.
yeah,
So, how, and then, fast forward just a short little 10 years later, I get married.
mm-hmm.
I hadn't even dealt with any of that. So it's
Yeah,
like, okay, I don't know how to love myself. So how am I going to allow this person to love me? And I'm just going to accept how they love me,
yeah.
right? You
And I
just accept
think, and
it.
I think that's why for me, and I can only, I'm not an expert in divorce,
Me
but
neither.
I,
Neither.
I think that because I didn't perhaps have all of that self love, I
Yes.
couldn't accept or give that fully.
properly.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
I don't think that that's something that I could even wrap my head around, even post-divorce, thinking
Mm,
that way with that mindset,
yeah,
you know? I
yeah.
think all of this was more learned after the fact, with going through the trauma and the healing and all of that and learning
Mhm.
things and learning and discovering more about myself, you know?
Yeah, because I think I mean, self-love and being able to love somebody else is when you can love yourself fully and love being alone
I
and be
love
alone with
yes.
yourself.
I love being alone to the point where now I'm feeling maybe I love myself too much. I'm like,
I love you.
and I even said this. I had this conversation with my daughter, with Tony. I'm like, I'm good. Like, if I'm okay. No, not doesn't mean that I don't want to be around people and that I don't love them because I
Yeah,
certainly do and I appreciate all that. But I could literally be alone for the longest period of time. If I had virtual reality class, because part of me wanted to get those VR, like the
yeah,
meta world.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, I don't know if I'd ever leave. I might just create, I would be probably one of those wackadoodles that create a full life in the meta universe. And I'm just happy being alone. And I just like
Oh my
go into the
god.
universe and go back to doing my thing. And I'm good. But that, yeah, I had to learn that. But there's a lot
Yeah.
of self-love stuff, a lot of like rituals. I almost say like the self-love starter kit. Like there's, in
Yeah,
my
yeah, there
mind,
has
right?
to be.
There's
Yeah,
certain things that I did and that I still do that
yeah.
helped me. Yeah.
Okay, what are they? Give us a few.
Well, first of all, mindset, right?
Mhm,
Mindset is that's the basis for freaking everything. And
mhm.
that I didn't figure out until later in life.
Yep.
But it's not just oh, yes, I'm going to feel great today and kumbaya, my lord. No, you have to learn tools and strategies in order to create this positive
It's
mindset.
it's like dating yourself.
It's a
Like,
what?
you have to dating yourself.
Yes,
Like,
without a
you have
doubt.
to ask yourself those questions. What makes you happy? What makes you
Yep,
tick?
yep,
You
and
know,
yep,
when do you feel the most excited? Like, you have to ask yourself these love questions.
yes.
If you went for a walk today, where would you go?
Right. Right. Exactly. Where is your favorite place? What does it smell like? What does it sound like? What is the food that you like? And once you discover all of these positive things, you can turn that into pots that go into like a daily habit, a daily ritual. Many people have heard me
Yeah,
talk about my miracle morning, but
yeah,
doing those daily things to make you feel good, whether it's internally, and of course, again, I'm going to share a million times. You're going to start the day off with gratitude. So, however you show your gratitude, you thank God, you thank the universe, whatever you're doing, but having a daily morning ritual or daily ritual really does help set that day and
absolutely.
starts that self-love. And whether people are doing yoga, listening to inspirational stories, or the Unapologetically Badass podcast with Sierra and Renee, whatever those things are. But that, during the day, we might have, times in our lives, because it's not all hunky-dory and it's not all, I love myself. Well, there's often times where that doubt comes in.
Yeah,
That's we're human, right? So whether we're doubting ourselves, we feel shitty about a situation, whatever it is, figuring maybe we're not on the right path, whatever that is. But I love music. And
yeah.
so sometimes I'll just put some damn music on. And
You out
you ever watch Grey's Anatomy?
Yes, of
You
course.
remember? Okay, so they would just listen to the kitchen, say the dog day.
Yeah,
I'm not going to sing, but the dog days are
yeah,
over. Like that's what it reminds me of. And literally, just put some music on and dance it out. And if you
yeah,
just dance it out, you're going to feel so damn good. So having, the killer playlist, that's definitely a little confidence booster. But
for
having
sure.
those, what do you like? Some people want to take a bubble bath and, light a candle.
Yeah,
Um,
that's my thing. I find all my energy comes from water.
does
That's
it
me.
really?
Yeah, I go to the ocean, I take a bubble bath, and all of a sudden, like the sparks of everything in my life just comes together as one. And that's
Mm,
just me, you know. And
mhm.
but I do need music, but I need like it to have like that. Like I'm the words kind of music girl.
Okay.
I don't need the beat. I just need to
Okay.
hear the word and let it like get into the soul of myself, you know.
Yeah. Oh, I gotcha. No, I'm definitely a dance it out kind of person. I'll
Too.
like put the earbuds, I'm dancing.
I love you and I so much because our paths went like this
Yeah.
and we were living our lives and we are going through some of the similar things, but we did it like our personalities were so different. So it lets the audience know like anybody can do this, whether you're a Renee or you're a Sierra, you could get through it and you can get through it in different ways. It's okay.
Yes. Yep. Now, when we talk about self-love, right? What we want to talk about also self-sabotage,
Yeah, that's
right?
true. Yeah.
Because sometimes we're blocking our own glow up, right? For
Yeah.
instance, because
Yeah.
we are giving that talk to ourselves and right? How do you know you're doing it? Like oftentimes people don't recognize that they're doing that.
So as a spiritual person, as a believer in God, I have to always go back to the word. You know, Matthew 22 says, love your neighbor as yourself. Love yourself. The one who gets it is the one who loves. Uh for your what's the other one? For you created the innermost being. Um how to love yourself. What's another one? I mean, it goes on and on about love, 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 love,
Yeah.
love, love. But it talks about learning to love yourself so that you could love others. And so if I ever get to the point where I am starting to talk to myself and talk myself up and I go on a rampage and it becomes negative, me personally, Renee, I have to go back to the word. I'm like, girl, where are you going? Did Satan
Mhm.
just take over your head? He just came and grabbed it and sucked it out. No, girl, go back to the word. That's not love. You are not loving yourself. That is not
Yeah.
what he taught you. So for me, if I hear or see or attempt to self sabotage or then I have to remember the word.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's
I'm
that's a that's a strong one. That's a strong one.
like,
But it's hard for people to recognize. And it's sad to me talking to, so many women through our lives, and I'm sure you too,
mhm.
where that they're in self-sabotage mode. They don't see it,
Yeah.
they don't
Yes.
recognize it, but they're happy in it.
Yeah,
Like,
and then
not
some
even
are so
happy, but they're
miserable, they make
content.
everybody miserable.
Yeah, they're content in that space. And I find for me, I have a really hard time being around that.
Mhm.
And, I am the kick yourself. There's no like I can't. It's like I fucking can. So if
Yeah.
somebody is in that space, it's hard for me to actually allow that.
Yeah, because anything is possible, so don't say
Yeah.
that it isn't, just say what's real, and I think
Yeah.
that's where people get mixed up, is they don't say what's real. It's not that you can't do it, you don't want to,
Right. Right.
and that's
You don't want to.
okay.
Mhm.
Own your
Yes.
shit. I
Yes.
don't want to be like that. Be a bitch. Hold it,
Yeah.
right, Renee? Like, don't sit there
Absolutely.
and tell everybody you want to do what I wanted. I just can't. I'm
Yes.
not good enough. And
Yeah.
then turn around and be all bubbly. No, you know what it is.
Yep.
You don't want to. It's
Yep.
not your desire. It's not who you are. Own your shit.
Exactly. Own your shit. Yeah. And often, and it's tough when you're working with somebody who's like that. When you clearly know you ain't ever going to get out of your own damn way. You're not.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there ain't nothing I can do to help you because I can't push water upstream, you know?
No, you can't. You can't lead a horse to drink. You can lead them
No,
there.
no.
If they don't want to drink, they don't want to drink. It's like a dying dog. When
Yep.
dogs are dying, they don't eat anymore. That
Yep.
is their own way of saying it's my time to go.
Yeah.
And people do that internally to themselves. So you have to find the will and the heart and the desire to say, I am worthy enough. I am good enough. This is what I'm meant for, and I have a purpose. You know, something I've really, really struggled with, and I don't know if you did, because you and I have had conversations about we raised babies and our whole life was surrounded around our babies. So when it came time for me to love me, I did not know what I liked.
Yeah. No, we get lost in motherhood that we forget who we are.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't have any hobbies. And then, when you start dating and you're in your 40s and these men are asking you, like,
We
oh, what do you
talked
like
about
to do
that.
for fun? I'm
Yeah.
like, drink wine,
In a
take a
bathtub.
bubble bath. You don't know what to say because you're just like, I don't know. What do I like? Who am
Because we
I?
don't have time to like anything.
You didn't.
And
Yeah.
which is it's not a complaint. This was a
Yeah.
choice that we made. We loved
It
every
was,
minute of it,
yeah.
right? But when you're not in that anymore, you're absolutely right. It's you have to learn and figure out what it is that you love. And even you said something and it made me think of that old SNL skit with Stuart Smalley. I'm dating myself. Gosh, help me. Um,
I'm like, I need to go look that one up because that
Oh
one's
my
not ringing
God.
a bell.
You might remember what he says because he used to look at himself in the mirror and he goes, "You're good enough, you're smart enough, and doggone it, people like you." You know,
Okay,
so
so I only know the movie where she looks at the little girl and she's like, "You is beautiful, you is
oh, you
smart."
is smart, you is important.
But
Yes.
I haven't heard your version. So
Okay,
okay,
so
maybe you
this
did date yourself.
yeah, I totally did it myself. So, but he would hold the mirror up, and that was an SNL skit. But it's
Perfect.
true about embracing, what we look like, our
Yeah.
flaws, like
Yeah.
all of it, right? Oftentimes, especially I think as women, and I know men have, self-conscious too about
Yeah.
certain things, but I think more so women and I think especially now with the whole, honestly, like the GLP and all these people going on Ozempic and all these things, right? I think
Mhm.
we're
Well,
creating
social
that.
media, because you can fake social
Yes,
media, so everybody looks so perfect, and they can
so
put every
perfect.
angle and every filter on, so
Right.
you look really good in what may not be so real. So it's hard to not
Exactly.
compare yourself to that.
It really is. And so when we think about that self-love, unless we embrace
Mhm.
our flaws and the fact that we might not have a perfect body. We might have a little bit of cellulite. We might have a chubby belly. We might have, thinning hair, whatever it is. But
But it does. It's
it's
me. It's who I am.
right. And like, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's complimenting ourselves. Like, look in the mirror and go, you know what? I look damn good today.
Mhm.
Instead of going, oh, I look fat. Oh, this doesn't fit. Oh, bleh," like how we tend to do that. But, I challenge people and I challenge myself to, give ourselves a compliment each day.
Yeah.
Something that,
You know,
hey,
and I struggled with that too. And whenever you grow is when somebody does give you a compliment and you're able to say, "Thank you so
thank you.
much."
Yes.
You
Oh
know,
gosh. Yes.
because in those early days when you didn't know that you loved yourself
Mhm.
and somebody complimented you, it almost was awkward and weird. And you're just like, "No, I'm not."
Right.
And
Right.
that day when you're like, "Thank you so much." I take a lot of pride in that,
Mhm.
and I try really hard every day to keep
Yeah.
whatever that compliment was,
Yeah.
to keep up with that skincare routine so that somebody like you could make my day.
Yep.
My husband always would say things from the time that we got together. He'd always say, "You're so beautiful and you don't even know it." And
Oh,
that's what makes you so sexy. He would
yeah.
say that to me, and I just like, that's weird. Like in the beginning, I was like, that's weird, and then as the years have gone on and just he'll catch me in these weird moments and he'll say things like that. And I'll say, you know what? I am.
Right. And I
Yeah,
think that's a
thank you,
great
my husband.
I love that, and I think every woman should, if they don't, they should practice just
Yes.
accepting the compliment and thanking the person for that compliment. That's
Practice it
it.
in the mirror.
Mhm.
Just give yourself a compliment and then just tell yourself thank you because it is so attractive and so elegant when somebody can say thank you to a compliment.
Yes. Yes. Yep.
And it's hard to accept. It's like hearing your own voice, right? It doesn't sound
We all,
so
yeah, we
great.
all,
You're
yeah.
like, "Oh,
We all
scratch."
cringe, yes. But
You
instead,
know?
oh, you know what? I have a unique voice. I am
Exactly.
powerful. I am strong. So
Yes.
come up. So everyone should have their own affirmation. That's
Yes.
another thing too, is creating your affirmation that you say to yourself each
Every
and
day.
every day, whether you want to hold it in a mirror, you want to put it in a voice recording, something that you are hearing it, saying it, everything, reading it, whatever it is. But
Yes.
I think the self affirmation. And the other thing too, when we talk about self love, is boundaries.
Yeah.
Like, that
Yeah.
was a big thing that I had to learn because I always would try to come from a place of, yes, being a people pleaser.
And
Sure, I'll
that,
do that. Sure, I'll go there. Sure, I'll do that.
exhausting.
Sure, right? And then once I embrace no, that is so empowering. Nope. Nope.
I will not, or just putting the boundary of, I will not accept that.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
that's a big one, and I just keep thinking of, okay, we go through these moments in time where, in your 20s, I think is the most beautiful. You are like the most blossoming and beautiful,
Yep.
but you are so critical of yourself, right?
Yep.
And you have no idea what self-love is. You're trying to figure it out. You may not have gotten there. But then I fast forward, Renee, and I think about like that the episodes that we talk about of how everything changes in our bodies.
Mhm.
And we get to the point to sometimes where we're maybe so much ashamed of it because of how much it has changed that we don't even want to have sex with our own husbands that
Yeah.
have loved us
Yeah.
from
Right.
all these
Right.
times
Yep.
and accept us fully. And so we have to relearn again. Like, I love myself because I love my wittiness. I love my shit talking. I love the fact that I will not put up with any bullshit, but I don't love my body anymore. Dang
Right.
it. So now
Right.
you got to relearn to love yourself. Or
Yep.
if you're in your 50s and 60s and you're going through a damn divorce and you don't want it, now you hate yourself. So you got to rewire because you just got to the place in your life where you actually started to love yourself. And now this person that you've loved forever don't love you no more.
Yep. Yep. And like you said, it's rewiring its mindset.
Totally.
It's a challenge that every single person goes through, is finding that acceptance of ourselves. And like we said, once we accept ourselves, we can accept others, and we have to do that. Can you imagine waking up with zero insecurities, full confidence, right? That's what we
Yeah,
want for everybody.
I try to do that. It's a goal of mine personally is to
Yeah,
do that because I've gotten to the point where I don't give a shit what anybody thinks about me
exactly.
anymore. So now I'm like, okay, I should embrace what I have. I have people say all the time how much they love my hair, and I hate my hair. But I am starting to say things now, Renee, like, I love my hair. Thank you, God, for gifting me with so much of it, because I'm finding out that as you get older, it thins.
It does then. Yep.
And it's heartbreaking that women are having to deal with thinning hair. And I'm like, I'm not going to have that problem.
Right.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you, God. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. And
And for
so it's
those that
hard to
do
do those
experience
things. You
And for
have
those
to.
that do experience it, we do have a solution for you, but we'll get to that
We
another
do. We
time.
do.
Just more. I
I'm
would
trying
never.
to tell my friends. I'm trying to tell my friends, girl, you got to try this elixir because your hair is going to change. Because that is like one of the biggest things that I hear
Yeah.
women say. My hair doesn't grow anymore, and I'm
My
like
hair is growing like wildflower.
crazy. Yeah,
The issue that I have with my hair is I can't style it for shit. I've never been able
me
to.
neither.
All of my videos, my lives, this tends to be something that I end up like playing with. It's terrible because I'm like, I never like the way my hair looks. I can never do it. Part of me wants to just get freaking wigs, cut it off. But I will say that elixir, my hair is growing like crazy. So the thinning hair at 55, postmenopause, it's not an issue. So,
But we're not going to self-sabotage because you
nope,
look freaking hot all the time.
I'm hot, baby. Yes.
You
So,
are. You
yeah,
are.
I mean,
See, and that's just where it is, ladies. For every negative that you say about yourself, say a
it's
positive.
positive. Right.
Like,
Right.
and say it out loud to a girlfriend. Who cares? She's
Yeah.
gonna love you for it. Be like, girl, I'm looking hot today.
Yeah,
Girl,
I might not like my hair, but my lips are so on track.
like, girl, you know what? Actually, I'm kind of happy with the way that my hair looks right now. And you know what? And my boobs look perky today. Woo! You
Right,
know,
right.
celebrate it,
Yeah,
ladies.
exactly.
Celebrate it.
Right.
And
My hair might be flopped, but I got the best push-up bra.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
love
know.
that.
So you just have to constantly keep like you just have to keep doing it. You have to keep saying it. You have to just it's just a mental challenge. It's a mental game if you want to call it a game. It's a give and take. It's a love and hate relationship with yourself, but don't give up on it.
Yeah,
Loving yourself will ultimately be the best gift you could ever give yourself.
for sure. And we really have to teach the younger generation to do that as well.
Yes,
We
because
really do.
being yes, because you just especially, when you think about being bullied, I promise you, if you're a mom listening to this and you have a teenager or a middle school child and they are being bullied, have them listen to this with you
Yeah.
because a lot of it is the other person's insecurity. And you learn when you're older, they teased me because they were jealous.
Yeah.
There was
Yep.
something that I had, a kindness in me that I had that they didn't have.
Yep. Yep. For
And if
sure.
you can learn to just say, I feel really bad for them. I know that I'm perfect in every way that
Mhm.
she is saying that I'm not.
Mhm. Yep.
And if you could teach your kids that, if we could have been taught that, if we could go back and tell our younger selves that, and that is like the hardest thing with bullying is emotionally, kids are not capable of taking those emotions and putting it to the logical side fast enough. And it sits there and it destroys them. And it's so sad because that carries into the self love that they're going to have later.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, and we've spoken about this, like even a lot of us, a lot of people have tried to teach kids those concepts, but they're not in the space to accept that and learn that. They're more in the
Mhm.
space of listening and hearing that negativity about themselves, which is sad. But it's
It's
all
hard.
things that we learn. It's all our journey. But what I
And
love
hopefully we'll
about
be better for it.
Oh, exactly, and I think we are, and I think that's what, quite honestly, like we talked about earlier in this conversation, the generations and our generation, and I think all of these experiences that we had, and
Mhm.
more oftentimes the shitty experiences, is what made us so freaking badass and so
Absolutely.
resilient, and tough. I mean, I quite honestly, I worry about the young generation because
Mm.
I I they a lot. I don't wanna just put a blanket statement out there because it's not
Because their life is different.
we tried to make it I think we tried to make it easy for them, but we made it too easy.
Yes, yes, because they don't know if they know how to live, and
No.
every because living is sometimes having those bad things happen to you, right?
Yes.
And then learning from it. Not
Exactly.
that we want anybody to have to go through bad thing after bad thing after
No.
bad thing, but it having a little bit of heartache
They
or
do
sadness
need yes, and
or
I see oftentimes they get triggered and they can't and then they'll just, like, they won't de so the a lot of times they don't deal with the situation.
learn
Yeah,
how to get
learn how to. Yes.
equipped
Mhm.
to deal with what's happening. So
Yep.
they're stuck in it and they sit there and ponder in it instead of moving forward
Yeah.
and saying this could be for the better. And I
Yeah.
want to say and hope, Renee, that they'll get it later, but I just feel like it's like there's like this moment of stuckness in some of the younger generations.
Yeah, I know. I'm seeing it too, and I'm obviously,
Yeah.
we're not experts in that. We just know that
Yeah.
our experience and going through a lot of shit has made us stronger and, I think self-reflective, and I think we've learned a lot from our journeys and hopefully
Mhm.
share with others. But it doesn't mean that we don't have bad days. I mean, we have bad days, but we've learned tools and strategies to help us pull ourselves out. We just had a
Yeah.
conversation with somebody for another episode that will be airing soon, so stay tuned. But we're talking about the importance of knowing that this is our life. We
Yeah.
have to take care of ourselves, and
Yes.
we are numero uno. So no one's going to take care of us for us. No one's going to do anything for. I mean, granted they are, but we can't expect anything except for ourselves. So how we take care of ourselves is truly important in the words we if we treat ourselves with kindness, we'll be able to treat others with kindness.
Yes.
Yeah.
And going back to be okay with being alone,
Yeah.
set those boundaries,
Yep.
with whoever or whatever, and also with yourself.
Hmm.
And don't self-sabotage the love that you truly should have for yourself.
For
You
sure.
know,
For
if
sure.
we just put it all together, like we're like telling you, don't do this, don't do that. You're gonna do it,
Yeah.
but learn to work through it. Right?
Exactly. Yep. Our gift to you is knowing, remembering, reminding yourself that you are worthy, you are loved. What was that saying that you said from the movie? Uh
You are
from The Help,
beautiful.
right? It's from the movie The Help.
Yes, you are
You are
beautiful.
kind,
You
you
are
are
kind. You're smart.
you
Yes.
are important. Yes,
Important.
that's what
Yes.
the last one. So yes, remember that everyone will get that quote at some point, correct. But you basically all know what the hell we're talking about.
We
But
didn't put it in order, people, but just tell yourself
yeah,
that every day. Because
yeah,
Renee and I both have been in spots where we didn't tell ourselves that every day. We
yeah,
didn't know how. We
yep,
didn't have a coach in the beginning. We had to crawl ourselves out of that.
yep,
And there might be somebody listening that you haven't self-loved yourself ever, maybe.
yep,
And my heart breaks for you, but you can find it. You can find a
absolutely.
way to love yourself. Find out what you do like. I've
Yep,
discovered that I do. Yes, I do love bubble bath and wine, but I loved, like, Renee's gonna be like, "Bleh." I loved exercising. It was
yep.
a release for me. I
I
love
I
it.
love that you love it. I wish, can you do it for me and just
Yes, send you
more
additional.
to send me the calories that you burned? Because
Yes. I found out that I loved helping women. I didn't
yeah,
know that that was really, like, gonna be a calling,
yeah,
right? But I discovered it, and I love drawing. I love to draw. I'm
mm,
actually pretty good at it, Renee, but I love drawing. And, these are things that, when you're having those self-love talks with
yeah.
yourself and you're trying to figure it out, I mean, it's scary, but you'll get there.
Yeah, for sure. I love you know what I love to do that I haven't done in a long time, and I'm reminded of it, is I can crochet a blanket.
I'm so jealous. I
No, but
wish I
wait.
could
The
do that.
funny thing is so I've crocheted blankets and I have, I've crocheted them for each daughter and, have one
Aw.
for us. And if you block one eye and tilt, then it looks like it's straight, but the ends are crooked as hell. I'm like, it's made with love. But I kept promising Brianna's fiance back when he was the boyfriend, because he loved it. I was
Oh,
like, I'm gonna make Jake a blanket as well in like the manly colors. So I
oh,
started it years ago and I have a bag in my closet that every once in a while I'll take out, but it's not something I do right on the regular. And I keep
yeah,
on like saying, I need to do it. I need to do it. But I know that when I sit down and do it, I feel good. I'm like,
you
oh,
love it.
like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I need to get
Oh, I love it. I love
little
it. And I
something.
think you and I also talked about through self-love, I also discovered that I do like to journal.
Yeah.
Um, it's just kind of expressing my feelings or like what I'm going through and then go back and read them and be like, girl, where was your head at?
That's something I haven't done, actually. I haven't journaled.
You do voice though.
I do voice, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'll
She's
just
technology. I'm old school. Okay, people. I write it down. She puts it into the computer.
or I express myself on social media, and then I go, "What the hell was I think?" You can kinda tell my mood when, like, the other day, I don't know when this episode's gonna air, but it's gonna be probably weeks from now, I know, but I did something because I am talk about self-love. When you're going through a trademark dispute with
Oh
another
yeah,
company, right?
yeah.
And I'm like, so I put it out there, did a social media post because I'm like, I'm the fucking OG Sparkle Queen. Like, ain't no, like, I've been doing this since 2013. Like, stop messing with me. I'm the OG Sparkle. So it's one of those that I should probably just journal my feelings
Yes.
instead of
And
like
go
yeah.
yeah, yeah, people, let's not put everything.
Yeah, oh,
Every
well, I
emotion
definitely don't put
has to.
everything. There's definitely a whole lot.
Do you have those friends, like, where they literally put every
Oh my
emotion in?
god. Oh my
I'm
god.
just feeling
I
a certain way today. Like, okay, we love you, but tell it to a group of people. You don't want to put everything on social
no,
media. I know that is a release for you, but it's not healthy.
it's not
It's not
healthy.
healthy
No.
because it is a piece of self-sabotaging
Sabotage.
your ability to love yourself.
Yep. Yep. Without a
Yeah.
doubt. It's so cringy when I see that, but that's up to them
Yeah.
to figure out. No, I don't post everything as much as there's plenty of
Me
things that I want to post, but I don't.
And I wanna be real and honest, like I shared, like, when my dad died and the experience of that, I
Yeah.
shared my hysterectomy journey, and I do need to do another update now that I feel
Yeah.
like $1,000,000. But, I want to be authentic and share with my audience who I am as a person,
Yeah.
but I think I've self-taught myself enough to not be negative, so that's probably why I'm able to control not posting negative thoughts or
Yeah.
actions or things that I like when I cuss somebody out for cutting me off. I could post it, but why?
Right.
You know what
Right.
I
No. No.
mean, Renee?
But
So,
we talk about that, and that's something that, I feel comfortable sharing here and I don't share on social. But part of the whole self-love is a lot of people know that sadly I'm estranged from my youngest daughter.
yeah,
And, when we are building presence on social media, we want to be authentic with our audience.
yeah,
But I refrain from sharing that oftentimes, even though, and so I get stuck because part of me wants to share because I want to be authentic and I want people to truly know that I have this awful part of my life that I regret daily. I cry all the time. Like it's this such a huge part of my life that I won't share. Look at me. But I
okay.
think it could help others as
Yeah.
well, right? And
But
so
I
I
think it
did it.
also I think you love so much, Renee, that I
Yeah.
think a piece of that is protecting her.
Well, that's the thing is I don't want it to be on her because I don't know how an audience is going to take
Affect her
that.
decision to you
Yeah.
guys to regain
Yeah.
your
So I keep that pretty quiet. I mean, I've shared it on here, but it's not on social. So I make sure that
yeah,
this is on the clip. I've shared a couple of times on social. Um, but it's something that I like, okay, part of my self-love because that's something that I struggle with every single day. But
yeah.
I can't
As
share.
a
Yeah.
mother, self-love, you can destruct yourself as a mother in a
Yep.
heartbeat.
Yep.
You can have that mother where you think you're not a good enough mother.
Mhm.
You think you're not giving enough time to one or more multiple kids. You as a mom, what did I do wrong? And
Yeah.
you're constantly thinking about it. And
Yeah.
Renee can only imagine, just me having a short period with my son,
Yep.
of him not wanting to be around me for like 2 years,
Yep.
the thoughts that
Yeah.
went through my head.
Yeah. It's
And I mean, there were moments where because a mother is our whole being,
yeah.
that I thought it's not even worth living if he
Right.
can't love me.
Right.
And
Yep.
that's where we have to fight so
Yep.
hard to just
Yeah.
overcome that.
Yeah, for sure. So it definitely is a self-love versus self-sabotage because
Yeah.
I have a choice every day of living in which world, which
Yeah,
path am I gonna, and the self-sabotage is not gonna do anybody any good, me or anybody else that loves me in my life, right? And
exactly.
so I go the self-love, but doesn't mean there aren't moments where I
Exactly.
sit in that sabotage, but then, able to pull myself out. So yeah, that's just one other thing that I'll share with the listeners, but I won't put it out there on
Yeah.
social. So if anyone can understand that, message me because,
Yeah.
love to be a resource and a sounding board. But
Yes. I mean, I know we both would. We
Yep.
just want to be there for as many women as possible.
Mhm.
And I guess we could say a few good men. We did start this off
Amen.
sharing
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
we did have a man reach out to us, and we're so
Yeah.
grateful for all of our listeners and all of
Yeah.
our audience. And it means the world to us whenever you just come to us and just say, "You guys make me laugh. You give me
Right.
hope. You make me think about this or that or whatever it may be. Just trust us. Those messages mean the world to
Yeah.
us. And if we
Yeah.
can fulfill your life, or if there is any topic where you're like, please talk about this,
Yeah.
because I need to know what you guys think on this, just share. We
Love
want to
it.
know.
Love it. Love it. Well, thank you, everyone. This was a good topic. I'm glad that we did this. And
Yeah, our show has mainly been, you guys hear it in every piece. And
yeah,
I think it's important that they know where you and I stand on it.
absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you all for listening. We appreciate you so much. And stay tuned for the next Unapologetically Badass. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
All right, Queens, that's a wrap for today's episode. But before you hit pause, let's talk about you and how we can help you slay every part of your life. If you're ready to feel fabulous and look like $1,000,000, I've got you covered with my Badass Queen coaching, sparkling touchstone crystal jewelry, and Bella Grace collagen, because glowing skin and a sparkly vibe, that's a power move. Check it all out at ReneeCarbonefleming.com. And my co-host Sierra, oh yeah, she's bringing the heat too. Not only is she rocking Bella Grace collagen for her glow game, but she's also the queen of chic with her fabulous clothing boutique. From boosting your wellness to leveling up your wardrobe, Sierra's got the magic to help you shine inside and out. Check her out at Linktree/Sierra Whitener 7. So here's the deal. Head to our websites, grab the goods that'll help you live your best life, and let's make everything about you unapologetically badass. And hey, don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and share this episode with your fellow queens, because the more sparkle in the world, the better. Until next time, keep glowing, keep slaying, and remember, you're a badass queen who deserves it all.